Hello again there friends, this is Brian, the Three Topics Gamer, here to present a special matchup this time around, as we will be revisiting my favorite video game franchise of all time in the form of the Metal Gear franchise, and we will have a battle of snipers go head to head in what should be a legendary shootout, as the beautiful and deadly Sniper Wolf makes a return from all the way back from Season 1, and will take on the mysterious Quiet from Metal Gear Solid Phantom Pain. To make this release matchup be a little bit extra special, I actually decided to wait until the release of Metal Gear Solid Delta to celebrate the occasion. Now, if you do happen to enjoy this matchup by the end, please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to keep track of me on my future matchups and videos I have planned for the rest of the year. I also have one more really awesome announcement that I would like to make too, but I think it would be best if we jump over to a special location to announce it, so let's head there now. Okay, what's up again guys, Brian here, Three Topics Gamer. I am here with Mary, we're at MGSCon 3. She is the one that did the voiceover for the Hours section in the Mass Effect series, and she's also doing the voiceover for Sniper Wolf section for this matchup video. And also her very talented mother is doing the voiceover for Quiet's voiceover section. So I just want to say thank you for all your help.
Sure, it was my pleasure.
Very talented.
Thank you.
The best. I will be sure to leave a link to her channel. She also does a lot of Twitch work, and she's incredibly good at it, and she's a massive fan of Mass Effect, Mass Effect, Metal Gear, and Zelda, and all types of franchises. So again, thank you guys for watching. Would you like to start us off with Sniper Wolf?
Oh my goodness. I don't know if I can do it. I won't do decent, but she says, you're my special prey.
Okay, thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna let her take it over with Sniper Wolf section starting now. So thank you guys and enjoy the match video.
Thank you so much.
Sniper Wolf was born sometime between 1976 and 1985. She was raised amid the Kurdish insurgency against Saddam Hussein's Iraqi regime. As a child, Sniper Wolf was forced to move from shelter to shelter, often waking up in the middle of the night to find another friend or family member lying dead beside her. As she grew older, Sniper Wolf was trained by Gurkhas who taught her everything they knew about sniping. Later in life, she met Big Boss, who recognized her potential and talent. Big Boss brought the young Sniper Wolf to the United States, where she came to admire him deeply, referring to him as Saladin. After Big Boss's death, Sniper Wolf was recruited into Foxhound, driven by her desire for revenge against the world. At that time, Foxhound consisted of Sniper Wolf, Revolver Ocelot, Psycho Mantis, Decoy Octopus, Vulcan Raven, and the squad leader, Liquid Snake. In 2005, Sniper Wolf and the rest of Foxhound took part in the infamous Shadow Moses incident. During the operation, Sniper Wolf encountered two infiltrators, Solid Snake and Meryl Silverberg. Wolf seriously wounded Meryl but was forced to retreat, setting the stage for another confrontation with Snake. She got her rematch in an open field within the Shadow Moses military base during a blizzard. The two engaged in a fierce sniper duel, but Snake ultimately emerged victorious. As her final request, Wolf asked Snake to end her life quickly and to let her die with a rifle, which she said was a part of her. Moments later, Snake granted her wish. He placed a handkerchief over her face, saying he had no more tears to shed. By the time of her death, Sniper Wolf was a young woman in her 20s, standing at around 5'7". As a member of Foxhound, she was in peak physical condition for battlefield operations. Trained under Big Boss, Wolf was strong enough to carry heavy weapons while moving quickly from cover to cover, a critical skill for an expert sharpshooter. Her durability was also noted to be above average. This was demonstrated in her encounters with Solid Snake, where she continued to fight despite being shot in the stomach and bleeding out. In short, Wolf was one of the most physically honed sharpshooters of her time. Sniper Wolf carried a standard semi-automatic Heckler & Koch PSG-1 rifle. Originally designed in 1972, the PSG-1 weighed about 15 pounds and had a 5-round magazine. The weapon was not equipped with iron sights, but instead came with a telescopic scope featuring an illuminated reticle and adjustable range setting from 100 to 600 meters. In tests, the rifle proved effective at ranges up to 800 meters, or about 2,625 feet. Wolf also employed mercury-tipped bullets to poison her victims. Despite her skill, she did not kill for sport and avoided harming women and children whenever possible. Sniper Wolf's tactics on the battlefield were effective, but ultimately one-dimensional. Based on her two encounters with Solid Snake, she typically established what could be called an axis line, a sequence of cover points she would use to fire from. During combat, she would move from one piece of cover to another, exposing herself only briefly to take a shot. This tactic allowed her to fire faster than the average sniper, but it came with a major flaw. Her opponents could easily predict her movement. By lining up their sights between their points of cover, all they needed to do was wait for her to peek out or attempt to relocate, leaving her exposed. Wolf also made no attempt to adjust her distance from her target, limiting her tactical flexibility. In short, she would be highly vulnerable to anyone with access to artillery, or even just a well-positioned opponent with a weapon in effective range. With good cover and a steady aim, Sniper Wolf could be taken down.
When it comes to the character known as Quiet, very little is revealed about her early years before the events of Metal Gear Solid V, The Phantom Pain. What is known is that at some point, Quiet was recruited by Skullface, the commander of the covert unit XOF, to act as his personal assassin. In March of 1984, Quiet was ordered to kill Big Boss during a raid on a hospital. However, she failed her mission after being set on fire and falling out of a window. Because of her injuries, a biologist known as Code Talker, who specializes in parasitology, injected her with what was called a vocal cord parasite. This parasite produces a wide variety of effects on the human body. Through his research, while studying the remains of the legendary sniper The End, Code Talker discovered that these parasites were responsible for granting The End the ability to perform photosynthesis. Later in 1984, Quiet was deployed to Afghanistan, where she was ordered to eliminate Soviet officers opposing the development of a new Metal Gear weapon. It was during this mission that she engaged Venom Snake, a secret double for Big Boss, who defeated her. Instead of killing her, Venom Snake brought her back to Mother Base. After spending time as a prisoner, Quiet eventually switched sides and joined the Diamond Dogs, a private military company under Venom Snake's command. Quiet went on to accompany Venom Snake on many missions, gradually earning his trust. It was eventually revealed that the reason she remained silent was because Skullface had infected her with a specific strain of the vocal cord parasite. If she spoke in English, it would trigger an outbreak, putting everyone around her in danger. Not wanting to risk her allies' lives, Quiet went missing during a mission in Afghanistan, only to be captured by Soviet forces. During Venom Snake's attempt to rescue her, Quiet was severely injured, and Venom himself was bitten by a poisonous snake. Quiet broke her silence to radio for help, enabling Venom Snake to receive an antidote. Upon regaining consciousness, Venom Snake searched for her one last time, only to find an audio tape of her speaking to him. After that, Quiet was never seen again. Physically, Quiet was a young woman presumed to be in her mid-20s and standing at 5'7" tall. Due to the vocal cord parasite, she experienced both positive and negative effects on her body. Positively, Quiet was granted superhuman levels of strength, speed, and endurance. She could throw a soldier several feet with just a shove, perform acrobatic maneuvers with inhuman speed, and her durability was so high that she survived a long fall onto Mother Base without even the slightest hint of discomfort. She also possessed a minor healing factor that allowed her to perform a degree of cellular regeneration, enabling her to survive gunshot wounds and close-range explosions that would kill the average human. Similar to the legendary father of sniping, The End, Quiet's body allowed her to perform photosynthesis and breathe through her skin. Quiet only required a small amount of water and sunlight to continue fighting for extended periods. However, Quiet could not be submerged in water or have her skin completely covered. It is presumed this is why she wears a black bikini top, baring her midriff and arms. Quiet could also perform self-dematerialization, allowing her to travel great distances extremely quickly. This ability seemed to stem from her being able to transform her own cell structure, which also allowed her to affect physical objects. When Venom Snake engaged Quiet in Afghanistan, she was equipped with a collection of different weapons. Her primary weapon was a sniper rifle, though over the course of the game, Quiet could be equipped with different rifles depending on the situation, acting as Venom Snake's support. Her primary lethal weapon was named the Wicked Butterfly. While the official model of the Wicked Butterfly is not explicitly stated, research indicates that Quiet used a modified version of the Remington 700 M24 bolt-action rifle. The Remington 700 has an effective firing range of 875 yards, that's 2,625 feet, and uses a 7.62 by 51mm NATO cartridge in a 20-round magazine. Quiet was also equipped with a CZ-75 9mm pistol, a survival knife, and a collection of smoke grenades. As a combatant, even before she was infected with the parasite, Quiet had proven herself to be a well-trained assassin. She was proficient not only with firearms but also with knives. While she would have been effective in unarmed combat, the superhuman enhancements made her a far deadlier opponent. Quiet is capable of handling multiple targets at once with little effort. She was shown to be highly effective even when restricted to using only her legs, overwhelming opponents at close range with exceptional ferocity. Despite being primarily used as a sniper, when fighting on her own, she seemed far less effective. From reviewing multiple playthroughs, one common factor is clear. Quiet almost never relied on cover. She stood in the open, scanning the environment and relying on her ability to fire quickly. While she could dodge attacks and relocate with impressive speed, she consistently fell back on the tactic of remaining exposed. For a sniper, this was nothing short of recklessness to the highest degree.
Now that we've broken down these two deadly ladies, it's time to determine who I believe would walk away the winner. However, for this match, I find myself running into a rather serious impasse because the winner of this match will really depend solely on what kind of logic you choose to follow between game logic and practical logic. If we're following game logic, if this fight stays strictly a sniper shootout, then there's simply no question that Sniper Wolf would stand victorious. Despite both ladies using weapons that have matching effective firing ranges, the fact that Sniper Wolf's Heckler Koch PSG-1 is a semi-automatic rifle compared to Quiet's Remington 700 M24 bolt action means that Sniper Wolf will be able to get more shots off faster than Quiet. And when you take into account that there's no question that Sniper Wolf is the more experienced sharpshooter, her tactics, while one-dimensional and predictable at times, is far better than Quiet's approach as a sniper who never really relies on cover. But if we follow practical logic, since Quiet outclasses Sniper Wolf physically, even if Sniper Wolf is successful in getting the first shot off and hitting Quiet, if Quiet figures out Sniper Wolf's location and can understand that she is keeping herself locked in a specific area of the battlefield, all Quiet has to do is rely on her superiority in speed and maneuverability to close the distance and turn this to a close range fight. And once she's done that, Sniper Wolf is done for. But in this battle of opposing viewpoints, I find myself leaning more for Sniper Wolf. In both Sniper Wolf's engagements with Solid Snake, she placed herself in a position that forced the opponent to fight the way she wanted, and while she would ultimately lose both times, that doesn't change the fact that Sniper Wolf is typically the one that dictates the rules of engagement, and what's more is that both Sniper Wolf and Solid Snake were using identical rifles. While we've only ever seen Sniper Wolf in combat in two specific locations at Shadow Moses, if this fight were to take place in Afghanistan, Sniper Wolf's background proves that she would feel more than comfortable fighting in that specific environment, and with Quiet not being willing to take full advantage of her physical superiority over Sniper Wolf to the fullest, she would choose to fight this battle in a way that grants Sniper Wolf the most useful advantages in terms of primary weapons and tactics. And after all well said and is done, after a well drawn out shootout, it will be Sniper Wolf who would succeed in silencing Quiet forever. And it is for these reasons that I declare Sniper Wolf the winner. So that will do it for my final Metal Gear Solid Style vs. Series matchup. I would love to hear your thoughts on my analysis of the specific matchup, and feel free to share your thoughts on how you think this engagement would play out in the comments down below. As we move forward to the season finale matchup for this season, I've got to admit that I am a bit concerned. Up to this point, I've created over 60 plus matchups stretching all the way back to February of 2014, putting individuals against each other, but I've never attempted to put two army factions against each other before, which is certain to be a challenge for me. As a heads up, this next matchup video will not be done in the shorter format that I have done for the majority of the matchups that I've done this year, and I will be going all in with an extensive breakdown video. But due to my current work schedule and limited amount of time that I would have to do research, scripting, voiceovers, and editing, I cannot say exactly when this matchup will be up, but I will be sure to continue to post updates on my channel to keep you guys informed and make sure that this video gets out before the end of the year. So please enjoy this preview, and I will catch you all next time.